So hello everyone and welcome. We're excited you're all here for our webinar today. This is your end of year fundraising game plan, maximize giving season success, where we'll walk through strategies, tools, and timing that can help you make the most of giving season. Whether you're a small team or a large organization, year end can be both high pressure and high opportunity. So today we'll break it down into a clear and actionable plan that you can take back to your team and put to work immediately. My name is Riley Fratz, and I'm the Payments Operations Manager here at NationBuilder. I'm based in Salt Lake City, Utah, like I said. I work across product, engineering, and customer-facing teams to bring strategic improvements to NationBuilder Payments, which is our integrated payment processor. And I'm joined here today by my colleague, Maddie, who is our Events and Partnership Manager. And I'll hand it over to Maddie now so she can introduce herself.
Thanks, Riley. Yes, I'm Maddie. I'm based in London in the UK, and I focus on organizing events and nurturing partnerships that strengthen customer success and support long-lasting relationships within our ecosystem at NationBuilder. Before this role, I worked directly with customers as a customer success manager, helping them get as much value as they can from the product. So that experience definitely gave me a practical understanding of what truly drives effective fundraising and strong community engagement on this platform.
All right, I'm going to talk about where we're headed today. We'll start with a quick welcome and level set our goals for this session and what we want you to walk away with and why it really matters to each of your organizations. We'll move into understanding your donors, which is looking at what motivates them, how to read their engagement signals, and how to use that data to tailor your outreach in a way that feels personal rather than generic. From there, we'll spend time on building a strong recurring donor program. This is a really important piece. Your recurring donors are the foundation of sustainable fundraising. And we'll talk about how to encourage recurring giving and how to support donors long term. Next, we'll talk about communicating with your donors, including how to align your message, timing, and channels so you're meeting your supporters where they are and guiding them along a clear and intentional journey. And then we'll wrap up with a look at some new product releases that are designed to make all of this easier, including features that improve donor experience, reduce staff workload, and help grow revenue in meaningful ways. Today's goal is to give you a clear step-by-step plan that you can use to maximize donations during end of year fundraising. You'll walk away knowing which audiences to focus on, how to shape your message, which channels to prioritize, and how to strengthen recurring support going into the new year.
So let's start off by thinking about how to understand your donors. So when we think about building a strong donor program, the first step is understanding who is in your universe. Or donors aren't a single group. They make up different types of supporters with different habits and different motivations. So for example, we have small donors who give what they can. You have longtime donors who have stuck with you for years. You can have recurring donors who support you every month or every year. And then also large donors who make high impact gifts. You might also have two other important groups. So people who used to give but have fallen off, which are commonly referred to as disengaged donors, and people who engage with us in other ways but haven't yet given, so are engaged non-donors. These are just some good examples of who might live in your donor pool as we speak. Each group needs something a little different from us, and NationBuilder helps you see these groups clearly so that you can tailor your outreach effectively. And so after identifying who your donors are, the next question is, where are they in their journey with you? Think about engagement as a ladder. So people aren't just stepping onto it, others are already climbing it. And so your job isn't to move everybody to the top, it's to help each supporter take the next right step. Whether that's looking at engagement history, previous activity, what their giving patterns are, what their communication preferences are. This can show you exactly where someone is today and where they might be ready to go next. This is really the foundation for personalized and effective fundraising. In terms of where you would like to move them on this ladder of engagement, that's where the strategy comes in. So once you know who your donors are and where they are on the ladder, you can design intentional pathways to deepen their commitment. So, for example, if we're looking at longtime donors, maybe you want to convert them into giving ambassadors. So these folks already believe in your mission, so perhaps you might consider inviting them to share your work with their friends, with their families, create a peer-to-peer page for them, or make a match gift. They're really primed for those kinds of asks. You might have then small donors who you might want to consider increasing their next donation amount. So small donors, they often give because they care deeply, even if resources are limited. And so a personalized thank you and a clear reason to upgrade can really go a long way in converting that ask. And finally, donors who gave multiple times this year, but who aren't yet recurring donors. So anyone who gives more than once in a year is already showing that recurring behavior. So a simple, well-timed ask, for example, would you consider making this a monthly gift? A pretty straightforward ask, can really turn them into a reliable source of sustainable support moving forward. So if we think of which features in the product bring this to life. So filters in NationBuilder let you instantly group people based on real behavior, whether that's giving history, level of volunteer activity, email interactions. When we talk about understanding who are our donors, filters make that concrete. So for example, you can create filters such as the one that you see on the screen, but also folks who have donated under $50 in the past year, who have donated 3+ years in a row. You can filter for recurring donors. You can filter for lapsed donors. You could filter for engaged non-donors. So folks who have opened an email or attended an event or took an action on your website but haven't yet donated. And so the power of filters is that they're dynamic. So as soon as someone meets the criteria, they automatically join the filter. And if they no longer meet it, they drop out. That means that your donor groups are always up to date without manual list building, which saves you some time. So while filters show you who your donors are, paths show you where they're going next. So paths let you build structured journeys. So I mentioned that concept of a ladder of engagement so that your staff, your volunteers, they can move every donor through clear steps. And so on the screen here is an example ladder of engagement or an exampled path whereby we're trying to get someone to up their next donation amount. And so we have some example steps listed out here that you might want to consider, but paths are completely customizable. So those steps could look like whatever you need to do to make it actionable internally for yourselves. And so paths are really here to keep your team aligned and accountable, and they ensure that every donor gets consistent and meaningful touch points.
So now let's talk about building a strong recurring donor program. Recurring giving is one of the most reliable and impactful sources of long-term revenue for your organization. And the challenge that many organizations face is not getting recurring donors, it's keeping them. So, yeah, one of the first ways to make supporters feel valued, understood, and connected to your mission is by setting up specific and customized donation page auto responses. And these shouldn't just be transaction receipts, they're an opportunity to reinforce the impact of the gift that your donor just gave you. And a meaningful thank you message can go a long way in strengthening that donor retention. And next, we want to bring donors into the right personalized email journey using NationBuilder workflows. So similar to what Maddie was just talking about, we have all of this rich data about each donor and each person that comes into your nation or your organization's database. Um, so we want to make sure that we're using all of that data to personalize the information that you're sharing back with them. So this is where segmentation really matters. For example, someone who donates $5 one time should have a very different follow-up experience than someone who chooses to give $100 a month. We want monthly giving to be visible and encouraged. So, in that way, we always encourage folks to offer all frequency options of donations on one donation page. So one time, monthly, or annual giving. The best way to not have donors drop off your donation page is to have all of those frequency options on one page. So while that works best, workflows then ensure that each donor goes into the right nurture track based on that choice that they made. From there, NationBuilder can automatically categorize donors using tags based on the actions over time. This builds a really valuable history, and you're able to see who is becoming more engaged, who might need a touch point, and who is showing signs of becoming a major donor. And these tags help ensure your communication strategy is thoughtful and relevant and not one size fits all. Another touch point is the post donation experience. And rather than dropping people a generic thank you page, we can create a dedicated landing page that guides donors toward a clear next action. And maybe that's sharing their support on social media, signing up for email updates, inviting a friend to get involved, or exploring volunteer opportunities. The donation moment is when enthusiasm is the highest, so we want to build on that momentum. And finally, a strong donor program is built on trust. With the supporter portal in NationBuilder, donors can log in and manage their own giving, update their payment method, change amount of recurring donation, and pause contribution when needed. This transparency not only reduces administrative work for your team, but it also helps donors feel confident and in control of their relationship with your organization. So all of these elements, meaningful acknowledgement, thoughtful segmentation, strong follow-up, clear next actions, and donor autonomy work together to create a donor experience that is personal, respectful, and built for long-term stability. The supporter portal is really what makes like this sustainability possible. So it's a space where your donors can log in and manage their own giving, like we talked about, without having to email your staff and wait for someone to make those changes on their behalf. So they can review their active recurring donations or memberships. They can also view past ones that have been canceled or have lapsed. They can update and change their payment method, cancel or pause their recurring gift for any reason, update the amount that they're contributing. So a lot of times we hear of folks that want to increase the amount that they're donating. But if they don't have a way to do that, they're not going to be giving more. In the likelihood of you like going in and canceling their donation and then having them like set up a new one, a lot of donors just drop off. You cancel that donation, they never like go and set up another one. So the fact that they can log in and just update and add more money to their monthly or annual gift is awesome. And then they receive automatic notifications from that supporter portal if a payment ever fails so that they can fix it right away. So this empowers donors, it signals trust and transparency from your relationship, and it saves your team time. And so once you've identified your key audiences and set up all the right infrastructure, the next step is actually reaching out. And this is where thoughtful communication makes all the difference. The goal here is to make every touch point feel personal, intentional, and relevant to the donor's relationship with your organization. So first, craft your message. Be really clear about what you're asking for, why it matters, and what impact the donor support will have. Keep it focused and easy to understand. Donors respond best when the ask is direct and meaningful. And next, you want to personalize your message. Even something as simple as using a supporter's first name or referencing the actions that they've taken with your organization. For example, if they've signed a petition with y'all before, attended an event, or somehow supported y'all in the past, it shows that you see them as an individual, not just a name on a list. And that personalization is what turns a generic appeal into like a real conversation between you and your supporter. And then finally, always thank your donor. Gratitude isn't just a courtesy, it's part of your relationship building. A thoughtful thank you email and a message that recognizes their impact or some sort of follow-up that shares the outcome of their support helps build trust and keeps the donors connected over time. And at the end of the day, communication isn't just about asking for support, it's about reinforcing why that donor support matters and reminding them that like they are truly part of your work and you wouldn't be able to do it without them. And so let's really dig into how to like craft your email. So the information you include here is really important. So be sure to carefully consider the following. The first thing you want to the first thing your audience sees is the subject line. So make it short, compelling, and unique to your organization. Think of it as your 1 second chance to earn the donor's attention. It should spark enough curiosity or emotion that the recipient actually wants to open it. And once they're inside the email, set the tone right away. Remind them why you're fundraising and why your organization specifically is the place their gift can make a meaningful difference. This is where you ground the ask in purpose. From there, you can bring in a quote, a short story, or a quick example, something real and human that illustrates the impact that you're talking about. Just be careful not to send them off clicking links to too many other pages. The goal is to keep them focused on donating for this particular email ask and not navigating away to a bunch of different parts of your website. And then be very clear about your call to action. And right now it's to donate. Ideally, you want to be using a button in your email and place it where it's easy to find, once near the beginning or the middle of the email, and then again near the end. And you want to make this next step, the action that you're asking them to take, obvious and frictionless. And because donors are receiving lots of messages at this time of year, keep your copy concise and emotive. Say exactly what you need to say, but say it in a way that's warm, direct, and to the point. A tight and heartfelt ask will always outperform a long one. And finally, always end your email with a PS and repeat your call to action there. A surprising number of readers skip straight to the bottom of an email, so that PS is actually one of the most read lines in your email. It's a simple place to reinforce the urgency and invite them back to your donate page. So now we've covered what makes a great fundraising email, let's talk about how NationBuilder makes it easy to actually build one. Our drag and drop email builder gives you a simple, intuitive way to design beautiful and effective emails without needing to touch any code. You can easily add images, text blocks, buttons, and dividers just by dragging them into place. It's built for flexibility and speed, so you can spend less time wrestling with formatting and more time focusing on what really matters, which is crafting your message and inspiring action from your donors. And because it's fully integrated with your NationBuilder database, your audience segments, all of those personalization tokens, which we call smart fields in NationBuilder, and tracking codes are all connected automatically. So every email feels tailored and every response directly feeds back into your Nation. So yeah, all of the stats like from your email will also feed back into your next ask. In short, this feature can help you go from idea to inbox faster with less friction and a lot more creativity.
So next, I wanted to talk about why personalization in your donation emails is just so important. A personalized email journey is really that thing that can take your entire fundraising program to the next level. And so I think we all know that donors are overloaded with messages, whether that's email, social, text, ads, you name it. Personalization is a thing that helps you cut through the noise. So when someone sees their name, someone sees their past actions, or anything that speaks directly to their relationship with your movement, they are far more likely to pay attention. It also helps you build trust and real connection. When donors feel seen, and I think this goes just for humans in general, when we feel seen, we feel valued. And trust is the core driver behind long-term giving. And personalized outreach, it also helps lead to higher conversions and larger gift sizes. So when a donor sees that you understand who they are and what they care about, they're simply more inclined to give and hopefully give more than what they gave the last time. Plus, personalization on top of that, it signals to supporters that you value them, not just their dollars or whatever currency you operate in. It shows that you recognize their contributions, their history, and their potential future impact. And there's an added bonus to all of this, which is that personalization, it helps with email deliverability. So when your messages are relevant, people open the email, they click in the links of the email, and they engage with the content that you are sharing with them. It sounds like a no-brainer, but that positive interaction helps your emails land in inboxes rather than spam folders, which you want to avoid at all costs. And so all of this starts with using your donor data intentionally. So the data that you have or that lives under all of your donor profiles, how can you make use of that data to personalize your emails and personalize your donor asks? And so NationBuilder gives you the information you need to make your emails feel timely, meaningful, and tailored at scale, which is the key thing here. And so now that we've talked about why personalization matters, I wanted to look at how NationBuilder makes it easy to do this at scale using, and Riley already mentioned this, smart fields, but also liquid variables. So if we start with smart fields, these are the simplest way to add personal details to your emails. They automatically pull information directly from a person's profile, things as simple as their first name, their donation amount, but also their membership status, their volunteer history, whatever that data might be, you can probably pull it in an email. So instead of sending a generic email, you can create something like, "Hey Riley, thank you for your gift of $25 last month. Would you consider increasing this to $30?" This happens automatically for every recipient receiving the email. So without you having to create dozens of versions of the same email, it'll be unique to the person receiving the email. Liquid variables, on the other hand, they take that personalization even further. Liquid lets you show or hide content based on someone's behavior or relationship with your organization. So, for example, you can email a thank you note only to people who give monthly. You can display a make your first gift call to action to non-donors. You can include different suggested amounts based on their past giving, which is sort of the example linked on the screen here. And so this is what makes your emails feel thoughtful and relevant without that extra manual work. And so together, Smart Fields and Liquid, they help you speak directly to each donor based on who they are and how they've engaged with you. It's personalization that feels real, and it does drive stronger results because every message lands in a way that fits the individual. And if I'm looping this back to email deliverability, personalization is what allows you to get higher open rates, higher click rates, and stronger engagement across your email program as a whole. So to wrap up this section specifically, we wanted to talk about something simple but incredibly powerful, which is saying thank you. Um, Thanking your donors isn't just like a nice little extra thing to do. It should be a core part of building a strong and sustainable fundraising program. So when donors feel appreciated, they stay engaged, they give again, and they deepen their relationship with your movement. Firstly, it's important to thank donors often. It shouldn't only happen during fundraising pushes. Think regular thank yous from a quick email to a personalized message or even a phone call to your top donors. It helps folks feel seen all year long. Your thanks then need to be authentic. That means being timely, that means being personal. So remember personalization, obviously, and focusing on the impact of the gift. So donors want to know that their contribution mattered and that it's helping you move your mission forward. If you don't tell them, they're not going to figure it out themselves. You want to be the one communicating that change directly to them. Being specific also goes a long way. You want to use their name, reference something they actually did, like their most recent gift or the event they attended or the volunteer action they took. End of year thank you blasts are great, but they can't be the only form of appreciation people receive. You want that to be year round. And finally, try to know donors' appreciation style. Some supporters love public recognition, others might prefer a private note, and so some respond to impact stories, others appreciate quick direct check-ins. Like you just finding that out is really key. Because when you tailor your gratitude to the individual, you show donors that you genuinely value them and not just their donation that comes with their support. And so, a thoughtful and consistent thank you strategy strengthens trust, it boosts retention, and it sets the stage for future giving. So there are two NationBuilder tools that really help with donor recognition, and that is leaderboards and action button. Each supports a different side of donor appreciation. So leaderboards are great for donors who like public recognition, so some supporters feel extra proud when their contributions are visible, whether that's top peer-to-peer fundraisers or highest number of new donors brought in. Leaderboards give you a way to celebrate efforts publicly and motivate others at the same time. It turns that recognition or personal recognition into community momentum. But of course, not everyone wants to be recognized publicly, which is totally fine. Some donors prefer personal email or private thank you, like we've said. And so if you don't know, you can find out thanks to Action Button. So with Action Button, you can easily survey donors via quick polls or quizzes or opinion buttons that can be easily embedded on your website or linked out via an email to learn how they want to be appreciated. Do they want a phone call? Do they want a shout out on social media? Do they want a badge on your site? By gathering that information directly from your donors, you can tailor your thank you so that each person feels genuinely valued in the way that feels best to them. And so together, leaderboards and action button, they help you create personalized and meaningful appreciation experiences, which to be honest, very few people do. And so whether that's spotlighting a donor publicly or giving them a quiet, heartfelt acknowledgement behind the scenes, the point is that you're going that extra mile in thanking your donor as best you can.
We have a couple of product features to talk about that were released at the end of October. And yeah, those two new features are closely tied together, but that's Back's direct debit and V2 payment element page enhancements, both related to donation processing. And Maddie will talk about Back's direct debit first.
So this is very exciting. Direct debit is now available as a payment option in NationBuilder for UK customers. So that's customers with payment processors processing payments in GBP. A bit of a tongue twister there. But this is a big step forward in making giving easier and more reliable and more donor friendly. And so direct debit is one of the most trusted and widely used payment methods in the UK. Supporters already know it, they're comfortable with it, and many prefer it for ongoing or monthly contributions as opposed to credit cards. And so by offering direct debit, you're meeting donors where they are and you're giving them a method that they already trust. So it'll appear right alongside your existing credit card and express payment options. So donors have a choice that best fits their comfort and their giving habits. An important detail to share for those who are fundraising in the UK is that once direct debit is enabled, it becomes the default payment method. So we did this intentionally because direct debit is not only trusted, but it's also one of the most stable and reliable ways for UK supporters to give, especially for recurring gifts. And so prioritizing the most dependable method helps reduce failed payments and it improves long-term donor retention. One quick housekeeping note, if you are using a custom theme, you'll want to make sure that you've upgraded it so that direct debit displays properly on all of your donation V2 pages. This ensures donors can actually see and select the new option when making a payment on your website.
Yeah, and another thing to note is that for your organization, Back's processing rates are a lot lower, so you're saving some money too. Yeah, and while those Back's upgrades are especially exciting for our organizations in the UK, I also want to highlight that every NationBuilder customer can benefit from our newest donation page technology, which is the Stripe payment element. This upgrade really focuses on reducing drop-off and making giving feel effortless, especially on mobile. First, you'll notice that donors can now choose between one-time, monthly, and annual giving right on a single page. And I talked earlier about how every extra click creates friction. So bringing all of those options into one place helps donors commit faster with fewer interruptions. And it gives them the autonomy to choose which frequency option is best for them all on one page without having to navigate around your website. Second, donors can now check out with one click using Apple Pay or Google Pay, and this is huge for mobile giving. Most donors are responding from their phones, and being able to give in just a couple taps significantly increases completion rates. We've also added more flexibility for organizations who are required to collect occupation information. Donors who are retired or unemployed can simply select a checkbox and the form automatically adjusts. It reduces confusion and helps the donation flow smooth. And if you're registered as a nonprofit in the US or Canada, you'll continue to benefit from preferential nonprofit processing rates. And we've now expanded those nonprofit processing rates to the UK and Australia. I think forgot to add the UK on the slide, but I'll update it before we send it all out to y'all. But yeah, and we'll also include the fees table in our follow-up email with y'all. But yeah, so we have nonprofit processing rates in the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK, which helps keep more of your revenue going directly towards your mission. And one more thing that's coming soon is soft credits, which allow you to recognize supporters who help secure donations indirectly, like peer-to-peer fundraising or a board member outreach. It's a small detail that goes a long way in strengthening donor relationships. And then it also helps you target audiences more effectively for future fundraising outreach. Um, so if you haven't already upgraded to the payment element, now is truly the time. It gives your donors a simpler, faster, and more intuitive giving experience, which ultimately means more completed donations and more revenue for your mission. And just as importantly, this technology lays the foundation for everything that we're building next here at NationBuilder. So future enhancements, new payment options, and all new upcoming automation features will also all be released under the payment element framework. So upgrading now ensures that you're not just improving the donor experience today, but you're setting yourself up to take advantage of all the innovation that's coming next. Cool. So as we wrap up, I want to bring us back to why we're here today. We're building a clear, effective game plan for end of year fundraising. And we started by grounding ourselves in the goals for this season, what you should walk away with, and how each piece fits into a successful end of year strategy. Then we dug into understanding your donors, what motivates them, how to interpret their engagement signals, and how to use that insight to tailor their outreach in a way that actually resonates during the busiest giving season of the year. From there, we looked at how to build and strengthen a recurring donor program because those steady, reliable gifts provide the foundation that carries you not only through the end of year, but into the new year with stability and confidence. We also covered how to communicate with donors in a way that is timely, personal, and aligned across channels, making sure every message supports the bigger picture of your campaign. And finally, we walked through some new NationBuilder features designed to make all of this easier, from improving the donor experience to reducing staff workload and helping you raise more with the same effort.
Thanks so much for watching. For more helpful workshops like this, feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out our events page linked in the caption below. See you next time.